Before the name was even announced, cheers erupted across St. Peter's Square. The massive crowd had already sensed what was coming. "Long live the Pope," they shouted with tears in their eyes and hands raised to the sky. It was a moment of global significance, and a deeply personal one for a humble man from Chicago. At the age of 69, Robert Prevost had just been elected the 267th Pope of the Catholic Church. He was given the title Pope Leo XIV. But this was no ordinary appointment. For the first time in history, an American would sit on the throne of St. Peter. Born in 1955 in the city of Chicago, Robert Prevost's journey toward spiritual leadership started early, but it didn't follow the path many might expect. He wasn't a career churchman climbing the ranks of the Vatican bureaucracy. Instead, he devoted his life to service, and much of it took place far from the limelight. He was ordained as a priest in 1982. Just 3 years later, he made a life-changing decision. He left the comfort of his home country and went to Peru. Not as a bishop, not as a leader, but as a missionary. In the dusty, impoverished neighborhoods of northern Peru, Prevost found his purpose. He lived among the people, worked as a local priest, and taught in religious schools. For 10 years, he walked through the streets of Trujillo, visiting families, teaching children, and building trust within communities that often felt forgotten by the rest of the world. He eventually became a respected figure, not just because of his position, but because of his empathy. He was known as a bridge builder, someone who brought together the church and the people. He wasn't just preaching sermons, he was living them. Though based in Peru, he never lost touch with his roots. He traveled back to the United States frequently, but always returned to the mission field. In time, he was granted Peruvian nationality. The people of Peru didn't just see him as a visitor, they saw him as one of their own. Years later, his efforts caught the attention of Pope Francis. Just a year after Francis became Pope, he appointed Prevost as Bishop of Chiclayo, a city in Peru. It was a clear sign of trust. Francis believed in leaders who were close to the people, not above them. Prevost's leadership style reflected the values Pope Francis had tried to instill in the Church: humility, mercy, and service. He understood the struggles of the poor, because he had lived among them. He knew the pain of division within the Church, and he worked to heal it. He carried with him the spirit of Latin America and the pragmatism of his American upbringing. But his journey was not without controversy. During his time as Archbishop in Peru, the Church was hit by scandal, particularly surrounding allegations of sexual abuse. Although Prevost himself was never accused, he was part of a diocesan system that had to confront these painful realities. His diocese firmly rejected any claims of his involvement in any wrongdoing, and many believe he tried to lead with transparency and accountability. As the time came for a new pope to be chosen, the cardinals gathered in Vatican City. Most of those who would cast votes had been appointed by Pope Francis, men who shared his vision for a more compassionate, inclusive church. It was no surprise, then, when Prevost's name began to circulate among them. His unique combination of American roots and Latin American service made him a symbol of continuity. On the day of the conclave, after intense prayer and deliberation, the decision was made. Smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel, white smoke. The world watched as the announcement was prepared. But even before the cardinal stepped forward to declare the name, the crowd outside sensed something extraordinary had happened. They began to cheer, "Viva il Papa!" Then came the announcement: Robert Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV. In his first words as Pope, he spoke softly, first in English, then in Italian. "Peace be with you, to all of you, wherever you are in the world. I send you peace." His words were simple, but they carried the weight of his entire life. He then paid tribute to Pope Francis, the man who had once believed in him enough to elevate him in Peru, and he gave a message to the world. Let us walk forward together, united and as companions of God. As Pope Leo XIV, Robert Prevost now faces one of the most challenging spiritual leadership roles on earth. The Catholic Church is navigating a deeply divided world, struggling with internal conflicts, societal change, and declining faith among the younger generations. But those who know him believe he is uniquely prepared. He has seen poverty. He has confronted injustice. He has crossed cultures, served different peoples, and brought healing where there was pain. He understands both the global North and the global South. And, more than anything, he believes the Church must reach beyond its walls, into the lives of the forgotten and the suffering. He may be the first American Pope, but to many he is more than that. He is a missionary, a reformer, a bridge between worlds, and a symbol of what the Church can be, if it chooses humility, compassion, and courage. From the streets of Chicago, to the dusty villages of Peru, to the heights of the Vatican, the journey of Pope Leo XIV is a story not just of history, but of hope.